We're now hearing from the wife of former Baltimore Ravens player Ray Rice. Now that the NFL has reinstated him, Janay Rice is talking about what happened after her husband knocked her out on an elevator. CBS 2's Emily Schmidt reports it hasn't been easy for her to keep her story under wraps.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Janay Rice is speaking out in her first on-camera interview since she was physically abused and knocked unconscious by her now husband Ray Rice in February.
I was furious. We came home and we didn't talk the entire ride.
Rice told NBC's Today Show that what happened in the elevator was the only incident of domestic violence in the Rice's relationship before and after.
After this whole situation, you would think that we lived in a country full of people who never made a mistake. Who've never sinned ever in their life.
Exactly.
Days after the incident, video released by TMZ showed Ray Rice dragging an unconscious Janay Rice from a casino elevator. The NFL suspended Rice for 2 games in July, a punishment seen as far too lenient by critics. A second video was released by TMZ in September from inside the elevator, showing the disturbing incident.
Have you seen the second tape?
No, I refuse. I refuse. I'm not going to let the public bring me back there.
Ray Rice was cut by the Ravens, then suspended indefinitely by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who said Rice misled him about the extent of violence. An independent arbitrator overturned that suspension Friday. Goodell says that Ray Rice wasn't clear with him about what happened in that elevator. Janay Rice takes issue with that.
I can't say he's telling the truth.
Ray Rice is now allowed to play ball if a team will hire him. I'm Emily Schmidt.
That really started it.
Yes, and that was frustrating for me because obviously people took it as, I'm taking light off of what Ray did. In no way.
Or you're giving him an excuse.
Yeah, no.
You're in denial.
Yeah,
Right.
no, not at all. I was basically not doing what I was told, but at the same time, I didn't think it was completely wrong for me to apologize because at the end of the day, I got arrested too. So I did something wrong too. Not taking any light off of what Ray did because I agree with everybody else. It was wrong.
The Ravens tweeted out that portion of that statement, your apology, and then they quickly took it down because I think they understood very fast the reaction to that apology.
Right.
Do you think the reaction was warranted from people around the country?
I completely understood it. Yes.
Me too.
I completely understood it, which was, frustrating because the whole thing was just awkward, to be honest.
But had it not been for the Ravens urging you or suggesting you apologize, you would have never been at that press conference and you would have never apologized. You know what was being said. She's a typical
I
abused
heard
woman.
everything.
She's a woman in denial.
I heard that basically they needed to come in here, knock the door down, and drag her out because she was like chained in the house somewhere, or that she grew up in this type of environment. So many things.
I think a lot of other people reacted to the fact that Ray apologized to the Ravens and Ravens fans. And he didn't say, but most of all, I apologize to my wife.
I mean, in our mind, it's obvious he apologized to me more than once, countless amount of times. I'm sitting there next to him, so I wouldn't be sitting there next to him if I wasn't the first person to get an apology. There's no way. But the whole thing was,
Yeah, the whole thing was just uncomfortable.
Awkward. Yeah, so we were just doing what we had to do to get it over and done with.
How much of those efforts were geared at protecting Ray and his career and the Baltimore Ravens versus putting the pieces of your relationship back together?
Honestly, our biggest thing was the legal process that went along with it. We were both terrified. We didn't know what to expect. And that was really the hardest part in the beginning.
Let me read you some of the things that people started to say, either at that moment or in weeks that followed. Robin Givens, you know Robin Givens. She was in an abusive marriage. And after one particular incident of abuse, she said this. She wrote, I said, don't call me. I never want to see you again. But then you start taking his calls. Then he asks to see you in person, and you say yes to that. Then you have this big giant man crying like a baby on your lap, and the next thing you know, you're consoling him. You're the protector. 1 minute you're running from him, the next you're protecting him. Does any of that resonate with you, that you became Ray's protector by standing up and saying the things you did?
If anything, I was his protector before this. Protecting him from people with motives, protecting him from people who just wanted to take advantage of him. That was nothing new.
I totally understand how people look at that and think that that's who she is. But I know her and we know it, and she's not. So what this has done, though, has made us aware about
the people
that are actually living this every day. And, you know, I feel bad for their parents, their mothers, that they can't get their kids out of this, or, you know, just challenged with this on a daily basis. So I understand that.
I
but
feel like
she's
there's a silver line. I mean, there's a silver lining in all this.
There's so many messages
But I feel like
here.
God chose me and Ray for a reason.
He did.
And it was definitely to bring awareness to what people are going through every day. Even though it's not what I'm going through every day, it's definitely brought, you know, this topic to the forefront.
And it needs to be
we're
there.
okay with that.
But it's complicated. It's complicated because it starts a national discussion, and we're happy about that.
And that's a good thing.
And at the same time, you don't feel like you're part of that group.
Yes.
And sometimes I've read things that makes it sound like some are saying you're either with us or against us.
Right. I don't believe she's against us, against them, and neither are we against them. I'm just saying that this is not the type of relationship that she's in. And no, this is not the first thing that's going to happen the next time. No, there is no next time. We've already made that clear. There is no next time.
The first time we met, you and me. And I can't even say it with the same edge that you had in your voice. But when I asked you about your daughter, you said to me, I did not raise a young lady to be an abused woman.
Not at all. And if anybody knows her,
I don't come from that.
Not only that, she's very confident and she's very forceful herself.
I wouldn't allow anybody to disrespect me.
Never.
Especially a man I'm in a relationship with.
No, she was taught better than that.
You have a 2-year-old daughter. And at some point, you're going to have to sit Raven down and tell her this story.
Yes. I don't think I'll ever be prepared until that moment. But we're going to be honest with her. You know, we're going to tell her what happened, let her know things like this are not okay. It's not something that she should tolerate. You know, let her know that people make mistakes, and it's how you learn from them.
What's going on, tubers? Excuse the noise in the background. That's my meditation, ocean sounds. Some Foley work I did back in the day, where I just went to the beach and recorded the live ocean sounds and created an MP3 file. So I use it to relax my mind and meditate and to tune out loud sounds and shit, like for loud neighbors. And anyways, I watched that video on the Today Show with Matt Lauer interviewing Janay Rice. And to be honest with you, I kind of like, in ways, feel a little sympathetic. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to use a boxer's analogy. Say if you was a fighter, a top-notch fighter, and you fought this other fighter, and an actual fighter got the best of you, you know what I'm saying? And maybe KO'd you or TK'd you or just fought you long distance and then won a decision and you wasn't able to get a rematch from that fighter, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life. So, in regards to her, Miss Rice, and her situation, you know, to be embarrassed like that, even though she admitted herself that she was, as far as, you know, them both taking part in the situation, she admitted to that. I respect her on that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that maybe she's doing it to protect her family or whatever. Well, anyways, just like I look at her as, you know, being strong, but with the interview, I think that her mom shouldn't have been there. I mean, yeah, she should have been there for support, but she didn't have to be all intervening in the interview. You know what I'm saying? This woman, she's a grown woman. You know what I'm saying? She has a kid with Mr. Rice. And she has that, you know, she seems like she's a tough-natured girl, you know what I'm saying? One thing that was interesting is that she had mentioned that upon the question that Matt Lauer asked her about did she feel like she had to become the protector and consoler of the person who abused her, meaning like with, you know what I'm saying, like say if it was a situation where you get abused and the person that abused you, they come to you to console them, as the roles reverse, you know what I'm saying? And she admitted herself, she said that she's always been his protector. Like when she sees stuff that when people's trying to take advantage of him or whatever, you know what I'm saying, she's been doing that, you know what I'm saying? So she does seem like that, you know what I mean? But then you want to raise your eyebrow and ask the question as you scratch your noggin and you say, she seems like the type of lady that would trash talk back. Like say if he says something to her, she'll come back and talk the same shit to him. And that's how shit can get started, you know what I'm saying, as far as physical. I wouldn't put that past her because to me, with her demeanor, and I don't know her personally, but I could tell it seems like she would, you know, talk back and cuss like a sailor back at him, you know, and use all kind of profanity. She seems like that type. So, yeah, I think that her mom didn't have to be all in an interview intervening and stuff because, you know, this is a grown woman. She has her own personal life with Ray Rice. And what goes on in their household is between her and him. All right, then, tubers, feel free to sub and let me know what you guys think about Janay Rice's interview with Matt Lauer. And I'll catch you guys on another one. Nah-ahh.